When I look at these issues, I've started from a different angle, as in the goal is tackling climate change. What can help us? And throughout my research on these issues, I've come to the conclusion that the private sector has a big role to play, that innovation has a big role to play. In a way, an agenda that favors a channeled private sector activity towards the green transition and green sectors and innovation is the key to our success. When I speak about these topics, I often speak in capital cities. I live in Brussels, I teach in Paris, and so because of that, there's a lot of focus on what policy can do, what governments can do, what the European Union can do, and it is a lot. But I think it is important to underline that, the green transition is going to require a lot of money and it's going to require a lot of innovation. Neither of the two comes primarily from the public sector. So the public sector is there to help. It is there to set the conditions right. It is there also to help with potential subsidies or potential public investment in the infrastructure and so on. But crucially, most of the effort will have to come from the private sector. And I think that the degrowth movement puts a lot of burden implicitly on consumers, on people, on citizens. And so what it is saying is we have to free ourselves from this frivolous needs, from these things that we don't really need, from this consumption that we don't really need. Well, what we know is that it is very hard to persuade people to change their consumption habits. And that what looks to me as frivolous needs is somebody else's must. The reaction of economists is just to shut it off and say this is economic nonsense and so we're not going to engage with this. And I wanted to understand a bit what makes sense and what did not. Where were these criticisms coming from? And I think that the criticisms are fair. So if you look simply at the way we're doing the economy right now, the way we're growing the economy right now, there is an issue. There's nothing to be hidden there. So there are individual points that are fair. However, where we depart and where I disagree is that I think that a different type of economy is possible, a different type of growth is possible, that innovation will be central. The European Green Deal, so the overarching framework with which you're trying to do the green transition, is broadly right. It was framed by Ursula von der Leyen as a growth strategy, as a new growth model, which already underlines that a different economy is possible, that we want to prioritize green investments, and that this is going to create jobs, it's going to create growth, it's going to allow us to export these technologies to other countries, and so that this is the way we're doing it. It is not the economy versus the environment, it is the economy in the interest of the environment, but creating growth and jobs and opportunities for people. So I think the overarching direction is right. Then how specific countries are implementing it is open to debate. Whether they're doing enough is open to debate. Some countries don't see it this way. And actually there are governments that are saying, no, I'm protecting citizens, I'm protecting the economy, so I'm not going to do the environmental part. I think that is old school thinking. I think that very rapidly you're going to realize that you're protecting the current economy, but that soon that economy is no longer going to exist because consumers are shifting, because the world is changing. You have to decide whether you want to be a leader or you're going to arrive late and it's going to be too late and you're going to have missed the train economically and you're still going to have to do the green transition. Even the Friday for Future movement and Greta Thunberg's role has been crucial to focus the attention, to get people's attention on climate change. And I think that was good. And now we know the problems and we have to find solutions. And there are many that when they see a problem, they just sit there and whine and they say, there is this problem, what are we going to do about it? Nothing is happening. And there are others that roll up their sleeves and try to get something done about it. And this is my call to action to students of saying, look, there is a lot that needs to happen. There's a lot of roles that you can take. It can be in the private sector, absolutely. It can be in civil society, it can be in government. There is a scope for everybody, but get doing, because that's the only way we're going to reach our net zero targets, rather than sit there, wane, and in the worst of scenarios, just call or wait for the end of capitalism, which is not going to arrive, and in the end, you will not have achieved anything. Start working with what you have, and let's get this green transition done.